There's a moment when suspicion stops whispering and starts screaming. For me, it was 9:42 p.m., a Thursday, 3 days into her wellness retreat. I was sitting in our kitchen, the one I remodeled myself last summer, subway tile backsplash, walnut counters, dimmable pendant lights she picked out after a week of Pinterest scrolling. I remember the lights because they were set low, and I was sitting in that half-glow where things feel more like memory than reality. I had my laptop open, the tracker app running in one tab, and Jordan's Instagram in another. And then he posted a story. Nothing scandalous, just a video of two glasses clinking, a pool in the background, some smooth R&B playing low. But here's the thing, the reflection in the glass? It showed a woman. Same watch, same nails, same little scar on the knuckle from when she dropped a pan on Thanksgiving. Emma. She was toasting him. That was it. No guesswork left. No plausible deniability. No, maybe it's just the angle. It was her. With him. In a hotel that wasn't part of any retreat. In a robe she packed, just in case the spa had a dress code. And that's when it hit me. This wasn't her first time. No one books a trip like that for a first fling. This was rehearsed. Polished. Planned. She didn't trip and fall into bed with this guy. She packed for it. I didn't rage. Didn't throw my laptop or punch a wall. What I felt wasn't fire. It was ice. Something in me shut off, or maybe turned on, and everything got very, very clear. I clicked over to our joint account, the one we barely used anymore. Traced back a hotel charge from a conference in Milwaukee. Looked up the hotel. Boutique place. Adults-only spa package. Pulled up the dates. Matched them against his posts. Same damn bathrobe. Same damn tile floor. She had a pattern. I went back further. 3 months. 6. Text message backups from our shared iCloud account, the one she forgot to log out of on the iPad. And there it was. Jordan, next time, I'm not letting you out of that bed. Emma, you'll have to keep me there then, won't you? I read those messages like a surgeon reads x-rays. Cold. Detached. Not a husband anymore, just a man reviewing evidence. And with every screenshot, every reservation email, every gym receipt with a timestamp that didn't match her story, I built my case. I wasn't going to confront her when she got home. No. I was going to welcome her back. Let her settle in. Let her think everything was fine. Because the thing about betrayal is, it's not the fire that burns you. It's the calm before the fire. The stillness of a room full of gasoline. And I had matches. Thursday used to mean nothing special. Just another day in the week. That changed when I realized Laura started treating Thursdays like date night. Only I wasn't invited. It started with the perfume. Chanel. Not the one I bought her last Christmas. A different scent. Sweeter. Heavier. The kind that lingers in the air like a whisper. She sprayed it right before stepping out for errands. Always around 2 p.m. Always alone. The first few times, I told myself I was imagining things. Maybe she was just bored. Maybe she wanted to feel nice. But then she started dressing up, just a little too much for Target. Heels. Not the broken-in ones. The sharp pairs she only wore to weddings. Lipstick in the middle of the day. Curling her hair when she was just going to pick up paper towels. You don't need highlighter and 3 layers of mascara to buy toilet paper. That's when I started to pay attention. I didn't ask. I watched. One Thursday, I told her I had a meeting after work, a contractor thing, and that I'd be home late. She kissed me goodbye at 8:15 a.m., same as always. I waited until 8:30, then turned around and came back. Parked 2 streets down. Walked the rest of the way. Sat in my truck with the seat reclined and a thermos of coffee like a PI with a grudge and a gut feeling. At 1:47 p.m., the garage opened. Laura pulled out. Alone. I waited 5 minutes. Then I walked around the side of the house and let myself in with the key I'd hidden years ago behind the meter box. Her laptop was still on the kitchen counter. I opened it. Nothing. No messages, no browser history. She was careful. Too careful. That was suspicious in itself. Laura used to leave tabs open like someone trying to win a prize for digital clutter. Now it was spotless. I checked the trash folder. Empty. Recent calls on the landline? None. Who deletes their call log on a home phone? Then I saw it, a text notification on her iPad, which she'd forgotten to mute. The screen lit up with one message. Tyler, You look unreal today. I stared at it for a long time. Not because of what it said, it was tame, but because of what it meant. She hadn't replied yet, but she hadn't blocked him either. My hand hovered over the screen. I could open the messages. I could read them all, but I didn't. Not yet. I wanted her to feel safe, comfortable. I wanted her to keep making mistakes. I left everything exactly how I found it. Slipped back out the door. Took a long walk to my truck. Drove around for an hour to calm down. That night, she came home later than usual. Hair windblown, cheeks flushed, smelling like that Thursday perfume. "How was your meeting?" she asked. "Uneventful," I lied. And then I kissed her on the forehead and told her I loved her. Because when you're planning to burn the house down, you don't blow out the pilot light. You let the gas leak. There's something about betrayal that sharpens your senses. Food tastes dull, music gets quieter, but the lies? They start to glow in the dark. I spent the weekend pretending to be normal. Mowed the lawn, cleaned the gutters, smiled across the table like a man without a clue. Laura laughed at something I said during dinner, touched my hand like she used to. I almost believed it. But later that night, when she fell asleep with her back to me and her phone tucked under the pillow, I stayed awake staring at the ceiling, counting the cracks I hadn't noticed before. In the plaster. In the marriage. Sunday morning, I started a file on my laptop. I called it simply Ledger. It had 3 columns. Date. Excuse. Suspicious behavior. First entry? Thursday, March 14th. Errands. Left at 1:47 p.m. Dressed for date night. Text from Tyler. Second entry? Friday, March 15th. Claimed work call at 10:30 p.m. in the guest room. Voice muffled. Then laughter. No conference calls start that late. I started tracking everything. Mileage on her car. Number of missed calls. How long it took her to reply to my texts. I wasn't obsessed. I was collecting. You see, I'm not the kind of guy who yells. I don't throw plates. I don't key cars. But give me a spreadsheet and a reason, I'll give you a war in bullet points. On Monday, I dropped a small tracking device under the passenger seat of her car. Took me 40 seconds. I bought it weeks earlier when my gut started screaming. Cheap. Discreet. Pairs with your phone. She wouldn't notice it unless she cleaned her car, and Laura never cleaned her car. By Thursday, I had coordinates. At 2:12 p.m., while she told me she was at the dentist, her car was parked 4 blocks from our house, outside Tyler's. Not a bar. Not a cafe. Not the damn dentist. I watched the little red dot blink on my phone. I watched it stay in that same spot for an hour and 47 minutes. Then it moved slowly back toward our house. She walked in like nothing had happened. Said the appointment ran long. Claimed she'd been stuck in traffic. I nodded. Said nothing. Logged the time. In her sleep that night, she murmured his name. Quiet. Breathy, like a secret prayer. Ty. I didn't react. Just stared at the ceiling again. Eyes wide open. The next morning, I scheduled a consultation with a lawyer. Not to file anything. Not yet. Just to understand the battlefield. You got kids? The lawyer asked. Nope. Joint property? Just the house. But the title's in my name. He nodded. Then you've got leverage. But don't move fast. Let her think she's winning. That's when I decided I wouldn't confront her. I'd expose her. But not with yelling. Not with fists. With proof. The hardest part wasn't watching her lie. It was pretending I didn't already know. By this point, my ledger had over a dozen entries. Enough to make any sane man pack a bag or throw a chair. But I wasn't going anywhere, and I wasn't throwing a damn thing. I was setting the stage. One thing I've learned about cheaters, they get bold. They start to believe they're smarter than you. That you're too passive, too trusting, too dumb to connect the dots. So I gave Laura rope. A whole coil of it. Enough to weave a story, hang a future, and eventually, tie the noose. That Thursday, I told her I'd be out of town for a night. Fake conference. Booked a hotel 2 cities over, paid with a personal card she didn't have access to. Left the suitcase packed, the blazer dry cleaned. Even kissed her goodbye like a good husband should. Then I circled back. Parked in a borrowed car 2 blocks down. Hood up. Camera ready. At 1:46 p.m., she left the house in her usual Thursday best, flowy dress, gold earrings, that same damn perfume. She looked like a woman on her way to fall in love. Again. I tracked the GPS. No detours. Straight to Tyler's. She didn't park down the street. She pulled into his driveway like she owned it. Ballsy. She stayed 4 hours. I stayed 10 minutes longer. When she drove back home, I was already inside, lights off. Left the front door unlocked just long enough to slip in before she returned. Hid upstairs. Knew every creak of the floorboards, every sound in that house. I had the high ground. She came in humming. Not to a song, to herself. I recorded everything. The door. The laughter. The phone call to him right after her shower, still wet, still breathless. I wish you could have stayed longer. My blood stayed cold. Then she said it. I think he suspects, but he won't do anything. He's comfortable. That word again. Comfortable. They always mistake silence for weakness. But sometimes, silence is just the sound of a man digging a foundation. The next morning, while she was in the shower, I uploaded the footage to a private folder. Copied her text from the cloud. Pulled screenshots, receipts, even the call logs she tried to delete. At noon, I printed it all. Bound it. Labeled the envelope, for your consideration. And I slid it into her glove box when she wasn't looking. I didn't say a word that night. Didn't ask how her day went. Just kissed her on the cheek and let her wonder what was coming. The next day, she found it. I know because she called me at work, voice shaking. Ben, what is this? I took a deep breath. Calm. Clear. That's the truth, I said. And don't worry. There's more where that came from. Click. Let her sit with that. Let her wonder if Tyler's wife might be next. Or his boss. Or the HOA president who probably wouldn't appreciate extracurricular activities on private property. This wasn't the confrontation. This was the declaration. Next came the reckoning. She didn't come home that night. I figured she needed time to lie, to panic, maybe to scramble some kind of excuse. She didn't know how much I knew. That was the point. The next morning, her car was back in the driveway. But she wasn't inside. The living room looked untouched. Her side of the bed still smooth. I knew where she went, probably to Tyler's, looking for reassurance. But Tyler wasn't her safe place anymore. He just didn't know it yet. At 8:03 a.m., I sent an email. Not to Laura. Not to Tyler. To his wife, Michelle. Simple subject line. Thought you deserved to know. Attached, screenshots, GPS logs, a nice clean video still of Laura in his driveway wearing nothing but his t-shirt and a smile. 10 minutes later, Michelle called. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She said, very calmly, thank you. Then she hung up. By noon, Tyler's car was gone from his driveway, and so was Laura's from ours. At 1:26 p.m., I received a message, you vindictive piece of sh*t. No name, no greeting. Just that. I smiled. She still thought I was acting on rage. Like I was a man unraveling. She had no idea this was strategy. Cold. Measured. Months in the making. At 3 p.m., I walked into our HOA meeting with a manila envelope and a polite smile. Tyler happened to be on the neighborhood security committee. Important role. Respected guy. Family man. Not anymore. I let the president take me aside. Just a few concerns, I said. Some. Behavior unbecoming of someone in a position of trust. I didn't even have to show the photos. I just mentioned the address. The dates. The car. By the end of the meeting, Tyler was taking a leave of absence. I got home and poured myself a glass of bourbon. That night, Laura came back. She walked in slow, like someone stepping into a crime scene. I didn't get up. Didn't offer a hug. Just sat at the table and sipped my drink. She stood in the doorway for a full minute before speaking. Why are you doing this? She asked, voice raw. I looked at her, not with hate, not with love. Just with clarity. You burned the house down, I said. I'm just sweeping the ashes. I made a mistake, she whispered. No, I said, rising slowly. A mistake is forgetting an anniversary. You made a series of conscious decisions to betray me in my own home. She took a step closer. We can fix this. We. I laughed. There's no we. There's just you. And the mess you made. I handed her another envelope. Legal-sized. Formal. Her hands trembled. What's this? Your copy of the divorce petition. Already filed. You'll find everything in order, except your assumptions. She didn't cry. Not yet. She was still in shock. I'll fight it, she muttered. No, you won't, I replied. Because you signed a prenup. And you violated it. There's a clause about infidelity. No spousal support. You get nothing but your clothes and your car. Finally, the tears came. She reached out, maybe for my hand, maybe just for mercy. I stepped back. This is what accountability looks like, Laura, I said. It wears a suit, and it keeps receipts. Then I left her standing there, the envelope clutched to her chest, mascara already starting to run. I didn't look back. The first thing I noticed after she moved out was the quiet. Not just the absence of her voice, or her heels clicking down the hall. No, the kind of quiet that sinks into your bones. The kind that doesn't feel empty. It feels earned. She took her clothes, her makeup, a couple of cookbooks she never actually used, and the fake plants she thought made the place feel alive. I didn't argue. Let her have the set pieces. The show was over. What she didn't take. The coffee mug I bought her from our honeymoon. The framed photo of us at Lake Tahoe. The little wooden sign by the front door that read, "Home is who you come back to." I threw that last one out the same day. The house felt bigger without her. Or maybe I just stopped shrinking myself to fit her needs. I moved my stuff into the master bedroom. No more guest room exile. Bought new sheets. Dark gray. Nothing floral. Got rid of the candle she always lit that smelled like artificial vanilla and regret. Reclaimed the space. Inch by inch. One night, I sat on the back porch with a bottle of scotch and no phone in sight. Just me, the sky, and the sound of crickets who didn't give a damn that my life had detonated. It felt good. Not happy. Not yet. But clean. A week later, I ran into Tyler. Didn't plan to. Just happened at the local hardware store. He looked rough. Puffy eyes. Jaw clenched like it was welded shut. He tried to walk past me like I was invisible. I blocked him. You sleep with another man's wife? I said. You don't get to pretend he doesn't exist. He didn't respond. You lost your family, your standing, and your self-respect. All for what? 45 minutes of validation on a Thursday afternoon. Still nothing. Just silence and a twitch in his jaw. So I smiled. Don't worry, I said. I'm not going to hit you. You're not worth the effort. And then I walked away. Felt like I'd dropped a backpack I didn't even know I was carrying. A few days later, I got a call from someone I hadn't heard from in years. Emily, my old friend from college. We'd been close once. Almost dated. Timing was never right. She'd seen the divorce post. Reached out just to say she was sorry to hear what happened. We ended up talking for hours. About life. Work. What it feels like to start over at 39. That night, I slept better than I had in months. Not because I thought I'd found something new, but because I finally let go of something old. 3 months after the divorce papers were signed, I found myself standing in the middle of my living room, holding a paint roller in one hand and a playlist called Clean Slate, humming in the background. The beige walls Laura insisted were neutral and timeless were now a deep navy blue. Moody, honest, a little dramatic, like me, I guess, but at least I wasn't pretending anymore. The house looked different. Not just cosmetically. The energy was different. It didn't feel like a museum curated by someone else. It felt like mine. I dropped the weight. Not just the marriage. The pretending. The trying to be the guy who doesn't rock the boat. Screw that. Boats need rocking when the other passenger starts drilling holes. Tyler, last I heard, his wife moved out. Filed her own papers. His kids weren't speaking to him. His face showed up on a neighborhood Facebook thread titled, "The Real Problem Next Door." I didn't even have to lift a finger. Gravity took care of that one. As for Laura, she moved to a one-bedroom condo across town. I heard through the grapevine she tried dating Tyler after the dust settled, but that fizzled faster than a cheap sparkler. Apparently, the thrill doesn't last long when it comes with child support payments and a reputation scorched clean off the bone. And me? Well, I kept talking to Emily. Then I started seeing her. Slowly. No big romantic speeches. No fireworks. Just two people who knew what loss felt like, trying not to lose themselves again. She came over one Saturday to help me install shelves in the office. Ended up staying for dinner. Then for a movie. Then for the kind of silence you share with someone who doesn't need to fill the air with apologies. I told her everything. She didn't flinch. She just said, You deserved better. You still do. There's something healing in that. Not just being heard, but being understood without explanation. One night, as we sat on the back porch, same spot I'd once stared into the dark with a glass of scotch and a cracked heart, she leaned over and asked, "Do you miss her?" I thought about it for a second. "No," I said, "but I do miss the version of me that believed in her." She nodded, didn't try to fix it, just took my hand. And that's when I realized it wasn't about revenge. Not really. It was about reclamation. My life, my peace, my name. And I didn't just survive betrayal. I outgrew it.